Hey there, and welcome to the Know, Grow, Scale podcast. I'm Laura Johns, founder and CEO of the Business Growers. And on this podcast, we like to talk all things growth for MSPs. So who better than Matt Yesbeck to talk about those with MSPX? Matt, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited personally, outside of our LinkedIn exchange, just to get to know you better, get to know the problems that MSPX is solving. Do you mind just introducing yourself really quick and at a high level, just talk about how you guys got your start?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me on the show and for allowing me to speak to your audience. Excited about that. So MSPX, we are the first unified marketplace for the buying and selling of managed services contracts. And that came to us just out of sheer need, probably the end of 2023. 2022. Time flies, doesn't it? Especially when you're doing a startup.
That's right.
Melts away. But so me and my co-founder were working at our own respective MSPs. We were working in MSPs, but separately. And I'd been in technology in this area for almost 30 years at that point. And he had just come out of college 5 years previously, but had ascended all the way to MSP director within the small local MSP he was working for. So he made a quick study of the technology industry and excelled quickly. But when he was promoted to that role, one of his first projects was just to go through their portfolio of clients. This MSP had been in business about 15 years and really wanted to have a really good understanding on who their A, B, and C clients are. So he went through that project, identified the C customers, and it was about a half a dozen that he wanted to let go or fire, for lack of a better term.
Mighty brave of him. I think a lot of it don't do that assessment often enough.
Right. But you do realize that
not everybody's.
If anyone's ever read The Pumpkin Plan, prune to grow. And I know it's a scary thing to think about letting go of customers that you worked hard to get, but believe it or not, letting go of those will help your other customers grow. It's just good business sense. But anyway, he went to the internet to look for a platform to be able to not only monetize that contract on the way out, but to be able to take that customer and place them with a better suited, pre-vetted MSP, so that at the end of the day, the customer is the one that matters and wants to have them taken care of so that it doesn't generate bad word of mouth within the area or any hard feelings. The last thing you want a small business owner to do is spread the word that we were with them for 5-6 years and they just called up one day and fired us.
Right. That's not the reputation you want to build either.
Exactly. So anyway, long story short, he couldn't find anything and he calls me up and runs the idea by me. And again, I've been in the industry at this point nearly 30 years, but had just never been in a position for that to actually come to my attention. But I'm 10, 12 pages deep in a Google search and I'm not finding anything. I'm like, we took a little while to really think about this. And then we decided that we should just solve it. We should build a platform that wraps security and structure around a process that happens all the time in the industry, but it's very fragmented and back-channeled and sketchy.
Yeah, I love it. Honestly, very similar to how I got my story. I was working internally at an MSP, kept seeing a need, was wondering who was out there to help me solve it, and same thing. Couldn't find anybody, so I started it myself.
There you go. That's it. The best solutions are born out of a real, earnest need. Something, and you fill it, because if you've got the need, odds are
there's somebody else.
Someone else has got it. We know in the United States alone, there's over 45,000 MSPs of varying sizes. So if we're feeling the need in some way, that's amplified.
That's right. So talk a little bit about the particular problem that you're solving, if you don't mind. What happens when an MSP comes to you? What are they typically looking for? What are you delivering to them? What does that look like?
Yeah, so really MSPX it's an internet marketplace. So the idea is that you go to our landing page, you pick a subscription, whether it's the general access plan or the premium first look plan, and that gains you access to our marketplace. That gives you the ability as an MSP to either divest the contract, list it for sale so that another MSP can look at it, bid on it, pick it up, whatever. Or you can come in as an MSP looking to just acquire contracts. You might want to acquire in a particular vertical, in a particular geographic location, whatever the case may be, it certainly is a second avenue for revenue. So just I want everyone to understand this is not a replacement for a great sales engine. Every MSP needs a great sales engine, from marketing to
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, that all
I always say I cannot outmarket a bad product or a bad sales team. Like, you got to help me.
Exactly. We've got to have that in place. However, this is an excellent second avenue for revenue.
Yes.
And so if it's looked at that way, then you can understand it will be useful for some quick wins where it shortens that sales cycle and all of the effort you had to go through, from cold outreach to prospecting to multiple visits to a potential customer to close the deal. Again, those are all essential, but being able to acquire a contract can certainly hyper accelerate that process. But again, our marketplace isn't, at least currently, just flourishing with hundreds of contracts. It's not like a Toys R Us for contracts.
And that's what I was going to say too, is let's talk about how to identify, if you're an MSP owner listening, which a lot of you are out there, what does the process of recognizing a bad client for anybody versus just a bad client for you? Because you definitely don't want to just be handing over sloppy seconds, but there is probably a good kind of litmus test for that.
Yeah.
Advising on that a little bit?
Not at all. So what I like to say is that really there's no such thing as a bad customer.
Yeah.
I know there's some edge cases where some of you might be going, yeah, I
Like,
got one. Yeah, right. But honestly, if you really look at why that customer is bad, and again, I'm talking about, let's just say the 95%, right? I get there's going to be some edge cases, but typically if they're a bad customer, there's several reasons. So it could be a foundry customer, someone you took on in your early days where money was green, you needed to pay your bills, and your seat minimum was 10, but they were 5 and they had money. You took them on, right?
And now you've matured a little bit as a company.
You've outgrown them, right? Now you've got employees and you've got larger expenses, and that 5 or 6 or 7 seat customer is just not, it's a loss. You're either low margin, no margin, right? But there's something there going. They were one of our original customers. They really came in a time where we needed them, and we'll just hold on to them. That's all very benevolent, but at some point you have to realize we're in business, and business is business. So that's one reason: low margin, no margin. Vertical shift, right? We know as we're a growing MSP that when you hit that 1 million mark, things can sometimes plateau. Have to really analyze, what do I need to do to get this thing moving again and in the right direction? When you talk to a lot of MSP sales coaches, they'll tell you that the riches are in the niches. You need to niche down to a vertical. So look at your book of business, see where your predominant vertical is, and then really consider focusing on that vertical exclusively. Become the expert in that vertical. And that means necessarily that every other customer that's not in that vertical needs to go. Right.
And I actually did this internally in my business. Obviously, I'm MSP focused too, but when I first started out, I left an MSP, but I knew that it was going to take me some time to build an MSP focused business, because I know you'd be surprised, but Jackson, Mississippi doesn't have 10,000 of them. Over the course of, after I hit that 7-figure mark, started looking at, okay, you can actually make a list of, okay, who's most profitable? Who do I want to get rid of last? You know, who is easiest? And then do it that way. Thankfully, I've got a network of other marketing agency owners that I'm involved with, a mastermind group. They've got agencies from martial arts studios to urgent care clinics. So I'm able to hand my clients off to somebody that I trust. So this is basically like a built-in trusted platform. So what is that? Can you talk a little bit about, I know you've got your complimentary or free Client Compass Intelligent Portfolio Optimizer. Talk a little bit about that. It sounds interesting to me. I'm not an MSP, but I'm sitting here listening to you thinking, what's the downside? This free tool might be a good kind of entry point. Is that right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. The last thing I wanted to add too is that sometimes customers can be a bad fit because of cultural differences or friction. And sometimes what we find is that friction is caused by bad behavior that has been established by the MSP, right? So you take on a customer when you're young and you're giving them your cell phone number and you're not setting boundaries. And as you've grown and you've established these processes and departments and structure, that client still remembers the old days, and that's how they're doing things. So it also becomes very friction filled because they're not catching. So I really just want to summarize and bring all that to and just say that MSPX is not a dumping ground for bad clients, because one man's trash is another man's treasure.
That's
right.
That's
so you may be dumping off a 5 or 6 or 7 seat, whatever company, but the single MSP owner running around in his Sprinter van, that is trying to service the customers that he has and doesn't have a whole lot of time for sales will gladly pick up. So I just wanted to finish that thought.
I love that. It's kind of like your kids. They'll get away with whatever you let them get away with. Your clients do the same, but it's hard to reverse that behavior. So in the same way, there are definitely, different business models that suit different client needs.
So moving on to the next question with the client compass. So what we did was we created the client compass because our focus is certainly the marketplace, but we wanted to help MSPs to better identify of their book of business which contracts are right for divestiture and what contracts that are currently on the marketplace might be a good addition to your current portfolio. So we wrote the application for the client compass, and essentially it is an intelligent portfolio optimizer. So when you subscribe or sign up, it's free, yes, but you log in, create your account, and the first thing it'll ask you to do is tell us all about your MSP, and then you'll start to list all of your clients one by one. And it's a process, especially if you have many. But if you go through that process and you take the time, even if you have to offload it to someone else to get it done, what you have at the end is a fully aware application that uses some really excellent AI-focused tools that allow you to identify the customers that are growing, ones that are good but need remediation to get them to the growth, and then ones that just need to be divested, the ones that need to be pruned so that the other customers can grow. And it's a great tool, and we can offload the ones that need to be divested. You have a clear off-ramp into the marketplace. And we will.
You're kind of guided through, it sounds like.
Exactly.
Perfect. I love that.
And again, we know there's other tools out there that do that. And there's other coaches and there's other programs that help you identify those things. Again, we just decided to write this and give it as a value add to our.
It makes it a little bit easier because they're probably already overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
A good way to assess. So what success stories have you seen? Can you, probably tons, I'm sure, but can you just talk about maybe some kind of shining light that an MSP owner may have seen or found through partnering with you? And what does partnership look like? Is it a subscription type service? What's the model?
Sure. So the model for MSPX, we take a small subscription fee up front. We are community driven, but we obviously aren't a nonprofit. So we do a subscription fee up front. Currently in the fourth quarter, our general access plan is $149. It's normally $299, but either way, that's for the year. So it's extremely low. We want that barrier to entry to be there because we don't just want any fly by night signing up and not doing what they should. And we have a decent onboarding vetting process. So we try to make sure that we're not letting in riffraff, but putting up some kind of paywall also really makes someone think, okay, do I really want to put my money here? So that also helps to get rid of some of the ones that aren't very serious, but the MSPs that understand what this is and bring true integrity to the platform, we want you, but we don't want to set the paywall so high that it is snuffing out a single MSP owner. So with all that said, currently fourth quarter, $149 for the general access. It will go to $299 next quarter, but again, still for the year, relatively low. And then we have a $599 premium first look. And what that basically does is when you list the contract on the marketplace, everybody can see it, but only those that have the premium first look plan can actually click on it and hit the buy now button. Until a 36-hour timer that's on that contract counts down to 0. Then a bid now button is added there and everybody can interact with it. So it's just a little bit of strategic benefit if you decide to go in on the premium.
And that sounds very reasonable for the potential return.
Absolutely. And in terms of stories, we've only been open, this is our 6th week. So
wow.
Right. We dreamt up the idea in late 22. We really went to work on it in 23. We put out our MVP, a minimally viable product, in January of 24. We got several subscribers. We did a lot of research and development through that. We understood a lot more about what the channel, the industry was looking for. And then we closed that down, and then we just reopened it. We've been since May of this year building this current, all new, amazing version of that original MVP and launched that September 15th.
No doubt you guys will be tremendously successful. I'm really excited to hear about your continued success.
No, we're excited too. And we are, just this week, we're taking on a bundle of 4 contracts that a retiring MSP has. So he got 4 customers left. He's bundling them into one book of business.
All right, guys, it's time.
Yeah, they're coming in. And when they do, I send out LinkedIn notifications. So if you are linked up, if we're connected, you'll get those notifications and you can hit back to the marketplace.
Nice. I love it. Okay. So if somebody wants to find out more about you, if they're ready to get involved, they're ready to sign up, where would they need to go?
So www.mspx.store is where you would go to hit our landing page and subscribe. And I can be reached at matt@mspx.store. So if you have any direct questions before subscribing or after you've subscribed, or if you have contracts that you're thinking about divesting and you would like some guidance or some, just to have someone take a look and maybe even walk through our valuation calculator that's on the landing page. Again, that's free to use. I would help you walk through that.
Love that. Okay. Thank you, Matt, for your time. We might have to have another one where we dig a little bit deeper now after you've gotten really going, but thank you so much for your time. And thank you for listening to the No Grow Scale podcast. You've heard where he said to go, mspx.store. If you want to get started with him, I look forward to hearing many more good things from you, Matt. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Laura.